All right. Howdy, y'all. There's a thoughtful Jim Potts. Hey, let's turn on the camera. All right. Here I am. And guess where I am? I'm deep in the weeds. That's because I'm going to try to mow the lawn, get us out of the weeds by explaining the Constitution and bylaws involved with organizing your precincts and your county convention. So I got a little slideshow put together here. So we're going to share the screen. Boom. Start the slideshow. All right, here we go. The 2025 Oklahoma Democratic Party precinct and county organizing. This is an explanation of the ODP Constitution and Bylaw requirements. This is section 2 of the presentation during the organizing precinct meeting and county conventions. All right, here we go. So for those of you who viewed the previous video, it dealt with the things we need to do before the precinct meetings and before our county convention. It involved things like making the call or publicizing that this is going to be happening in your county. It also involves selecting and appointing different convention committees. These are very important. We talked a lot about it. So that first section 1, pretty lengthy, but it covered a lot of good stuff that are very important. Okay, section 2, during the meeting and convention. All right, so what am I going to do when we hold these events? There's the nice title page. All right, this is a copy of the title page from the 2023 State Organization Convention, State, District, County, Precinct Informational Packet. All right. This is a really good document. If you still got a copy of it, you might want to bust it out, look it over. But I want all of you to rest assured that the state party staff is working hard to update this document for 2025, incorporating any changes that have been made to the Constitution and bylaws, change all the dates, fix all the stuff that was wrong or in error or omitted, clarify it, straighten it up, make it look good. They'll be putting it out soon. This packet has all the good stuff. It's got templates and forms that you can print out and use. It's got checklists. It's got suggested agendas. It's got step-by-step cookbook instructions. I'm telling you, this is great. It's a lot more in depth than my presentation. So we all got to either find our old copy, get a handle on it, or wait for the new one to come out. So make sure you're receiving your emails from the state party so you can get your 2025 information packet. Okay. So in the first session, we talked about what the Sam Hill's organizing. Well, let's do a little review. It's where the party at all levels, from the precinct to the county, to the district, to the state, will be electing officers, considering resolutions, considering amendments and changes to the ODP Constitution and bylaws. And at the county level, you will be electing delegates to the district and state conventions if you received an allotment of the 416 delegates. Oh, how, Sam Hill, do we get delegates? You get delegates by turning out the vote. When you turn out enough votes in your county to get a share of the total votes cast in the entire state, that proportion times 416 how many delegates you get. For some of these sparse counties out west and maybe in the eastern part of the state, there's not enough people living there. They'd have to get 100% voter turnout in order to gain a delegate. But you're always going to send your officers. So you always got somebody at the state convention representing your county. So the other thing, these delegates are sometimes referred to as state delegates. They're your people. They're part of the county officers, although they're not part of the central committee, but they belong to the county and they represent the county at the district and state conventions. But in shorthand, we just call them state delegates, but they're your people. All right. Now I want to touch on Article 9 of the Constitution. Okay. And it has Article 9, Policy Rules, Section 1, 5 basic elements. Okay, here we go. The italicized stuff is copy and pasted directly from the Constitution. So an organization, as an organization, the Oklahoma Democratic Party, often called the ODP, has the right to decide its membership policies and is committed to providing an environment free from discrimination and harassment in which all people feel comfortable and expect. We expect everybody to behave this way. Essentially, this is a lot more words to simply say, hey, don't be harassing nobody in the party. All right. Number 2, the second basic element is, hey, don't discriminate based on anything. Gender, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity. We all know what we shouldn't be discriminating against. So behave yourselves. Okay. The time and place for all public meetings of the Oklahoma Democratic Party on all levels shall be publicized fully. We talked about this when we talked about things that you need to do before your precinct organization, the call, right? And getting the word out on your social media, in the local paper, all over the place. Hey, this is happening and we want you to come to it. We want you to be part of it. Okay. Publicize fully. Okay. In a manner where all interested persons may find, understand, and act upon the information in a timely manner. Right? Where's the meeting going to be? What time is the meeting? What day is the meeting? Right? So you got to get it out 30 days prior to the precinct organization. Gives people time to figure out what's going on and learn more about it. All right. A full description of the procedures for selection of the officials and representatives of the Oklahoma Democratic Party on all levels. Okay. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to explain things, right? The party's going to put out their informational packet, which explains things, right? So we need to get that word out. Need to be having your county meetings where you explain things, all right? A full description, okay. And basic element number 4 also goes on to say that Oklahoma Democrats will be so informed as to participate in the selection process. We don't want anybody showing up that doesn't know what Sam Hill's going on. So you're going to want to spend a little bit of time at the beginning of your precinct organization meeting explaining things, right? That way you can conform to basic element number 4. All right, number 5, the ODP shall publicize fully so that all prospective candidates or applicants for any elected or appointed position within the Oklahoma Democratic Party will have full and adequate opportunity to compete for office. There you go. That's why we have dates certain. That's why we have these calls go out. That precinct call initiates the process, right? When that precinct call goes out, it's going to state when the precinct organization is, and 4 Saturdays later is going to be the county convention, 1 week this way or the other of it. So if you want a campaign to be county chair or district secretary, you can start putting your campaign together. Or if you want to know, well, what the heck is a precinct officer? Oh, I know Oklahoma County is going to have a little Zoom meeting on that very subject, right? You can learn more about it prior to the organization meeting. Okay, now for one of my favorite subjects, more in Article 9. Section 3, equal division. In the selection, election, or appointment of members to conventions or committees, there shall be gender parity insofar as mathematically possible. Even number on the committee, even number, male and female, right? Odd number, well, you could have 4 men and 5 women, or 5 women and 4 men. 9's an odd number. That's as mathematically possible as you can get it balanced. All right. This is the gender parity statute. But wait, let's see the next exception, number 4. Exception to gender balance. Oh. In a county allocated 10 or fewer state convention delegates, including officers. So you got 5 officers that are delegates to the state convention. And if you have 5 state delegates from your county, that makes 10. You're okay. You can still qualify if you meet the second part here, because they're and conjunction. Okay. In a county where, because of regular gender balance requirements, there are vacancies remaining among a majority of the top 3 precinct committee officials throughout the precincts in that respective county, vacancies remain, or you have vacancies remaining among your county central committee members, right? You may have a vacancy in your affirmative action because you have a female affirmative action. You can't find any men that want to be an affirmative action officer, so you got a vacancy. Or perhaps you can't get balanced in your state convention delegates. All right. From that county, all after the election results of the most recent respective county convention have been submitted to the state secretary. So, when you submit your report of your elections, if you've got an imbalance that was caused by Section 3, equal division, gender parity, you may request, and you are 10 or fewer total delegates, you may request an exception. But you have to meet both small enough and enough vacancies in the precincts or vacancies in your central committee, county central committee. You may request to receive an exception. Okay. This request should accompany your county's report to the district and state secretaries of your county officer election results. Well, your officer election results at the precinct and county levels. So they can look at it and say, whoa, they sure enough got a lot of holes here. I wonder if gender caused that. Oh, here's a letter saying gender parity caused all these darn holes. We've got people that want to work, but they can't hold the office because they're the wrong gender. Crazy. All right. So the state central committee can then issue an exception. Right? It's good for 2 years. You can't hold an exception longer than 8 years continuously. All right. For a county that meets the requirements set forth in this section, the state central committee may authorize the respective county central committee to fill those vacancies without regard for gender balance. Oh, so after your county convention, if you get this exception, you might be able to fill some of those holes before the district convention. All right? But there's a blackout here. You can't, the county central committee may not appoint precinct officers before the county convention. There's blackout period between the precinct organizing meeting and the county convention. No precinct officer appointments during that time. Okay. Oh. So if you are able to get an exception and you are able to find people to fill those vacancies, but it's in such a short time that you show up at the credentials desk at the district with a bunch of people in tow saying, oh, we appointed these people last week, you better have your paperwork documenting such so that they may receive credentials to their district convention. Because all the district has is what's been furnished to us from the state secretary, that these have been certified and these are good and these are who they are. This is the list. So anything supplemental to that list, you better have clear paperwork and notifications sent of these appointments to the state and district secretaries. Okay, moving on. Precinct committee officials. All right, each precinct shall elect a precinct chair, vice chair, who have to be of different gender, and a secretary to serve as its officers. Each precinct committee may elect 4 committee persons who shall not be delegates of the county convention. All right. Your committee people are not part of the precinct central committee, nor are they automatically delegates to the county convention. Precinct officers, the central committee, are automatically credentialed delegates to the county convention. Okay. County party officials, pretty much the same story. County chair, vice chair, different genders, secretary, and 2 affirmative action officers, different genders. And there should be some consideration given to geographic parity. So like in Oklahoma County, you may, if you have the chance to appoint people, you may say, you know, we got a lot of people from the north side. We need more people from the south side. Well, we don't have enough people from Midwest City. We need to appoint people from Midwest City. Well, how about Luther and Jones out there in the eastern part of the county? Okay. Consideration given to geographic parity. Might be a good campaign point if you're running for office. All right. each county convention or political subdivision thereof. Subdivision, what they talking about, Willis? Well, we aren't talking about precincts here. We're talking about the split counties that have 2 or more congressional districts within their county boundary. So, for instance, I am an Oklahoma County Democrat in Congressional District 3 in Precinct 516, right? So there's an intermediary subdivision in these split counties of congressional districts, with the smallest subdivision being precinct. Okay. Shall elect state delegates to which the county may be entitled. We talked a little bit about delegate allotment. There'll be a separate video on that because it looks convoluted, but it ain't. All right, moving on to order. All right. Election bylaws 09 and 10. The bylaws, as we talked about in the first video, are more specific. And here's some specifications. Bylaws 09 A through F deal with elections. So it talks about the order of the officer elections. It states that each office is voted on separately. Talks about how to make nominations and getting a second. Talks about giving speeches. Talks about the vote has to be a tallied vote. There's no voice vote. There's no show of hands. It has to be tallied. Somebody's got to have numbers. All right. That's why you need to appoint some nonpartisan tally clerks. Okay. There's a little exception here at the state level where they do voting by county for the state offices. Okay. The winners by majority vote, 50% plus 1 is required to win the office. Bylaw 9F says, okay, nobody gets 50 plus 1. You take the top 2 vote getters, they have a runoff. All right. Oftentimes the rules of the convention will spell all this stuff out. Now there's going to be, should be in your rules a section to deal with the motions for resolutions and constitution and bylaw amendments, because they can have different time periods for discussion and argument, et cetera, et cetera. But other than that, they're pretty much Robert's Rules of Order. Somebody makes a motion to accept. Here we go. Bylaw number 10, the notification of election results. Okay, after the precinct organizing, precinct secretary has to get their results to the county secretary within 5 business days after the election. Okay, the precinct meeting's on a Thursday, then you got Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, into business Wednesday, 8 o'clock Thursday morning. Is that right? Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, 5 o'clock Friday. 5 o'clock Thursday, 8 o'clock Friday morning. They better have a hold of your precinct results. Now, the county secretary then has 10 days or an additional 5 from that 5-day deadline to when they have to get the precinct results up to the state secretary. All right. The county secretary shall notify the district or districts, if you're a split county, and the state secretary of the county officers' elections within, once again, 5 business days. So if your convention's on Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, end of day Friday, 8 o'clock the next Monday, state secretary better have a hold of your county officer election results. All right. Now then, we talked about the information packet. It's got these great forms in there that you need to complete and fill out to submit your precinct results to your county secretary, your county results to the district and state secretaries. All right. So use those forms. They're convenient. You may have a Google sheet that you can enter the same information. It'll work, but sometimes it's nice to have a paper copy so you got it documented so you can clutter up your house like mine. All right. Now then, I suggest that you include the officer's VAN number or their voter ID number to help the state secretary to certify the election results in accordance with bylaw number 11. Now, your credentials committee should probably have that information, because if they're going to issue a credential, they got to make sure that person's registered as a Democrat, lives in the damn county, and in the case of split counties, lives in the ding dong congressional district that they claim to. So, easy way to do that is look at their voter ID card, look them up in VAN, go to the Oklahoma voter portal, right? They can go to the voter portal right there at the credentials desk, show it to you. You can say, sure enough, that's right, good, here's your cred. But when you do that, grab their voter ID number. Okay, let's move on. Here's the form. Notice there's no place for voter ID or VAN number, but that's why we got people working on it. Now, for you folks in Pushmataha, I hope you can write small, fit all that in that space. Because I know Oklahoma's a pretty big word, and sometimes I have trouble getting it squeezed into a space. Okay, here's a space for your precinct number. They're going to update all these dates. Blah, here we go. Oh, affirmative action codes. So here's gender or lack thereof. And here's all these others. Hopefully we can get this corrected so that Americans with disabilities are not others, but are Americans with disabilities. And they'll put a blank space for other for people who identify as another affirmative action group. All right. So same basic form. They just duplicate it, change the titles for whatever office it may be. All right. So how's this work? The precinct organizing meeting is conducted by the current 23-24 precinct chair or their designee, who should be selected from the precinct Democrats assembled there. The current precinct secretary shall take minutes or someone designated by the meeting chair. Oh, hey, can you write this down? Minutes? What minutes? Jim Potts nominates Jim Green as chair of precinct 516. Oh, seconded by, right? Boom. There's just 3 of you there. You can decide who's going to be what officer, and then you can write all the stuff down about who made the motion and who nominated, who seconded. All right. Now, an important thing about the nominations, nominations cannot be closed. You continue to receive nominations until nobody makes any more. All right. You elect your precinct officers and your committee persons. You got that many people there? Hopefully you do. Fingers crossed. All right. You may take some time to consider and pass any amendments or changes to the C&B or resolutions and other stuff. And then your precinct secretary fills out the forms and gets them to the county secretary within 5 business days, as we discussed. All right. Same story, different font. County organizing convention conducted by the current chair or their designee, especially for the chair's election. you're planning on running again, you need to hand off the gravel to run your election for chair. That probably should be in the rules of the convention. All right. Although it may be a robot's rules of order, I don't know. All right. Secretary shall take minutes, or you can designate somebody that takes notes better than you do. All right. The final credentials committee report should include a list of all the Dems and visitors in attendance. All right. We got this many total delegates. We got this many ex officio. We need this many to make quorum, and we got this many to make quorum. Boom. So use those sign-in sheets, get everybody to sign in. You can just total those up. That should match your total of badges that you passed out. 2025, so you elect your county officers and your allotted state delegates, if you get any. Consider and pass your amendments to the Constitution, bylaws, and resolutions. Then your county secretary shall complete the county officer election results form, which have been furnished to you, and return to the districts and state secretaries within 5 business days. It's important you get that done, because the district credential committee has to be putting together their darn list. So they can't put together their list until your election has been certified. Imagine poor little Nana Dankwa, state secretary up there. He's got 77 counties reporting all their election results. And he's trying to figure out if these people are really Democrats or not. So please be punctual. Get them in earlier, that's great. If you can include those van numbers or the voter ID number to speed that process along, that's great. Okay, here we go. Whew. This was a broad surface level summary of your organizing precinct meetings and county conventions. Now, a more detailed information packet will be furnished by the Oklahoma Democratic Party. I'm telling you, this thing's great. It's got checklists. It's got suggested agenda. It's got all the forms in there. It's got a more fulsome discussion about what to do. They may include some suggested rules. Who knows? All I do know is every time I drop by over at ODP HQ, it's like, Potts, I can't help you right now. I'm trying to put out this information packet. So I know they're working on it hard, and I think it'll be good. It gets better every 2 years. We see an improvement in this information packet. There's got make all the changes to the Constitution bylaws that impact the organizing. So it's a task. All right. So the next video we're going to do is going to talk about what you need to do after your county convention and your precinct meetings. We've already talked about making the reports, but there's other things you need to do, which involves the transition from your past officers to your newly elected officers. So we'll be taking a look at that in the next video. And in the meantime, I don't want anybody to be here. Stop sharing. Lower hand. Okay. I don't want anybody to be out there lost in the weeds, all bogged down in these Constitution and bylaws of what the heck does this mean? I want you to be confident, to know what you're doing, and to execute this organization, because when we get our party organized, And when we're all working together, then we will be successful in the coming election years. We got 2026 coming up, statewide gubernatorial races, and all those other state offices will be happening. We got even numbered state Senate seats. Most of the Democrats in the state Senate are from even numbered seats. I wonder how that happened. But anyway, there you have it. So it's important. And I want for you county officers who are experienced at this and you know what's going on, I want you to reach out and help the new county officers that may be in nearby counties. Maybe y'all coordinate your meeting dates so that you can attend their precinct and county organization and help. I want you to help them form their committees. I want you to help them explain things. And I want the district officers to likewise coordinate these activities amongst their county officers, right? You know your county officers. You know who's new. You know who's been here. You know who's likely to help. So start contacting those county officers and find out what's going on and what are their plans for organization. And then ask them if they can help out so-and-so over here in this county. So we can make it happen, all of us together. We all get a hold of the same darn rope. We'll pull it across the line. We'll get the job done. So that's it for today. And once again, I wish everybody a happy new year. And don't get lost in the weeds. You need anything, you can call me. You can call the state party, their staff, they're willing to help. You can call your friend in the next county. We're all here to help each other, support each other, and to make this a better and stronger Oklahoma Democratic Party. Okay, you ready? Break.